So we're going to go over the pneumatic tools that we have downstairs. It's sort of a collection that can grow as more tools are made pneumatic, but these are what we have right now. We have two different air compressors. This is the smaller one, so we're demonstrating with this, but effectively they are the same in most ways. So I'm going to come around here to show how this works. On-off switch, fairly straightforward. When it's off, it will still hold air, but it won't continue to compress it. There are two connections, quick connects on the sides, so you could connect two tools simultaneously. The way that the quick connects work is they have a sliding sheath, so you pull it back, and that lets you remove the tool. Obviously, it has air in it, so it's under some pressure. There are two gauges here, and this top one shows the tank pressure, so that is the pressure inside the tank. And then this is the regulated pressure, the regulator pressure, and that is the pressure to the tool. And you can adjust that pressure. So this one you can't really adjust. This one you adjust by using this regulator. So if you want more pressure, you turn it clockwise. If you want less pressure, you turn it counterclockwise. So some tools have different pressure ratings for different purposes. You want different pressures, so you adjust it there. To use the quick connect, you put it in place, and it does take some force. You push it in and release it, and it holds in there. When you use enough air, the tank pressure will drop to a certain level, so it will kick back in and repressurize itself. So it's doing that automatically. You don't need to account for that. So then we'll look at the tools that we'll be using. And we have three of them here. There are two nail or brad guns or finishing tools, and then a stapler. There are actually two other accessories that we have. This goes on the end and it just sprays air. So if you are trying to clean air out of little cracks, or you've been sanding and you want to remove the sand, the dust from the cracks or the grain, you can clip this on. This is for filling tires, and it has another gauge on it, so you can see the pressure much more closely and use it for filling Schrader type valves. So we can start with the stapler. It's fairly simple. It has the safety here, so you depress the safety with
Where's
one
the safety?
finger right here. So two triggers. The first one, and that lets you depress the trigger fully. On the side, it shows you all the types of staples that you can put in. So you do need to make sure that they fit. Nothing terrible will happen if you put in ones that don't work, but it could jam. So you would need to then unjam it. In the side here, you can get a sense of the size because you can see the staples through there. So you can see how long they are. So right now you can see that we have 1/4-inch staples in. And then this arrow shows exactly where the staple will come out, so you can line it up on your project. To put in staples or to take out staples, you pull this downwards, and then it pulls out. And so the staples go right in here. You just drop them in, holding the tool upside down, and then wiggle it so that slides, and then push, and it clicks in. So there's even a little arrow right on the side here to show that you just pull that right down. And then to use the tool, you plug it in the same way that the other end plugged in. So that would be pulling this back, sliding on, and then releasing it. And then you staple it in. So he just has some scrap wood. So you place it firmly down on whatever you're stapling, see where you want to staple, and it has another grip here to show that you're meant to hold it. And with eye protection on, you can just depress the safety and then the trigger, and then put it right into the wood. So it worked quite well. If it was going too deep or not deep enough, then you just regulate the pressure right here. More pressure will push it in further, less pressure will push it in less far. And then when you're done, obviously, just popping it off there. So that's the first tool. This is the bigger of the finishers of the nail guns. And again, it says right on the side the kind of fasteners you can put into it. So it takes straight 16 gauge fasteners. The way gauge works, the smaller the number, the bigger the size. So that is important. If you put one in that's too small, it'll just fall through and jam. Too big and it won't fit. And then the range is from 1 inch to 2.5 inches. It has the same quick connect on the end. Instead of a safety, the way that this gun works is two things have to happen for it to shoot. So one, the trigger needs to be depressed, and two, this shoe needs to be pushed down into the material. And once those two things happen, then it will come out. So you can't just go pointing it like a gun, and you also can't just accidentally tap it against something. So those two things have to happen, and then it will come out. This up at the top directs where the air comes out. So you can turn it, and then the air blows out of here. So if you don't want it blowing in your face or on your project, then you can just point it away. And then this is where you load the staples in. So the first step is to retract this. So you put your finger here and pull it back, and it clicks into place. And then we take the 16 gauge staples. So these are 16 gauge, and they're 2.5 inches. So they fit into the specifications that it asks for. And you can see that they're thicker than most of the others. You slide it right into the top in this groove, right in the top here. And then you can just press this and it will snap closed, but you can also push it and just let it go more softly so it doesn't smash closed. Because sometimes that can break the glue between them and then you just have smaller pieces. Then you plug it in the same way as you did the others. They're 2.5 inch nails, so we need to make sure to have that much material for it to go into. Just make sure that is more than enough wood, for it to go through. We plug it in, and obviously the small difference. So you connect it the same way, glasses on. And as with all these tools, you do need to apply pressure to make sure that it goes to the full depth. So you hold down, point the air away from your face, push into the material, and then pull the trigger. So you can see that it went really deep into the material. So you can adjust that with the air pressure so that it doesn't go so deep, but it stapled all of them together. So it did a good job there. If it were to jam, then it wouldn't come, or you would see a staple sticking out. Then you take the disconnect off, and these levers here let you take this off, and you would see the staple stuck. But the staples are fine; they're not stuck there. So we can just close that. And again, these arrows show you exactly where your nail will come out of. And then the only other adjustment is this screw, which also adjusts the sensitivity, how deep it will go. So turning it this way will push the shoe further out, which means that it won't go quite so deep. The other way will make it go a little deeper, depending on what you're looking for. The last tool is just the smaller version. A few differences of note. To load the fasteners that you're putting in, you push this and then slide it back, and then you just lay them flat into here, and there are little grooves that it slides into. And again, it says right on the sticker here what kind of fasteners you can put into it, whether they're brads or staples or nails. You can point the direction of the exhaust, and then there's also a little small adjust here for the depth that it's going to. And that is, and there's always wear eye protection, but with the air and the nails, and that's about it.